We did just get back from Dallas a little over a week ago now. Just had an incredible time. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the second slide here. And our executive director of coaching and training. So maybe you just want to give a summary of a little bit of what we did there, who Brian is, because at the end of this, if they want to, anybody hasn't done that yet, they can click on the link and go hear Brian's full 30, 40 minutes of sharing and updating his journey that inspires so many of our students, and they can get that link later in his lifestyle and all that. But there's pictures of you and Brian in Dallas.
Yeah, Brian is actually very, very integral to the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is our six-figure e-commerce roadmap. And Curt, I know you and Brian spent hundreds of hours in the field working with our members as you develop that document. So he's our executive director of training and coaching. Did a fantastic job both organizing the training event, which is 3 separate workshops, and then he delivered content-wise a full day and a half, and the other day and a half was to our awesome and mighty and powerful Danita Zanre. So I'm going to be really candid. I do feel very badly for those of you who were not able to make it. I know where there were many, 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 many people who had a free ticket and they didn't claim it. And it's just like, oh, I don't know. But I do feel really badly you weren't there because we got all 5-star reviews. It was fantastic. So, yeah, the lifestyle part.
Yeah, and then, Brian's lifestyle, besides his training, and we got such great feedback from people who came to the event as far as step-by-step, palatable, understandable, followable, and Brian shares all of his secrets for people to make money, and the reason they're so excited is because of this lifestyle that he's cultivated for himself, and we have other members at different progressions on their way emulating what Brian has done. And as you said, Brian has taken time, I take time, you take time to really help people with that. In fact, you did a little bit of that even at the event and meeting with people one-on-one saying, hey, let me bring this down for you. We do that with the roadmap too. So it's really, again, if you want to hear more about Brian and his lifestyle, he really exemplifies and epitomizes. I'm on the slide where we're looking at peers and travel and all that. There's Brian in China, Brian with Dr. Josie Shepard, his good friend. And again, the screenshot of him in Dallas. There is another screenshot of him in Dallas. But Ann, I'll just go ahead and jump right into number 6. We handed out this for those that became new e-commerce master's program members in Dallas, and we're acclimating them now towards the program. And so this roadmap, Brian and I developed, like I said, for over hundreds and hundreds of hours. And you spent some time one-on-one with people. You and Brian spent one-on-one time with, is we really take someone and say, hey, this isn't cookie cutter. Let's show you the steps you can take. So if you want to talk a little bit how we grab people, particularly in the e-commerce master's program, and help them with this roadmap and their journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So while they're at the trifecta, I had several one-on-one appointments with members, and we used the roadmap that you see there right on the screen as a cornerstone of helping them set forth a strategy, both for the long term. I'm thinking about Sabrina. I had met for an hour when I was there, and then reduce that down or reverse engineer it. And what does her next 90-day stretch look like? And I'm going to go into more detail on that tomorrow when I have a special training about how it is that I help put together a game plan for a member. And I'll use one of the folks who was there as an example of that. But it really comes down to, for me, and I don't know if you folks feel this way as well, but when I enter into a space, I want to know kind of the whole big picture. And I don't know if it's just me, as I'm kind of more of an architect kind of person. Like I like to design things, and I like to know the options and the paths that are available to me so that I gain a better context of where I'm standing at when I begin somewhere, and in this case with e-commerce. So many of you are in the arbitrage model. There's a whole nother world beyond that. Arbitrage helps you learn the foundation and the basics, and it helps you get cash flow. But in no way does it ensure someone to be That's one of my favorite books of all time, Cash Flow Quadrant, to become what's called a true business owner. So here, this S quadrant, that actually represents someone who's self-employed, and they basically, yeah, they got a business sorta, but it's really a glorified job. It's a job. And if they don't show up in that business, that would be like scanning for products, your income goes away. That's an S quadrant. Okay, I'm going to talk about this too. You'll hear more about this later. But a true business owner, a true B, you know what that means? They can walk away for up to a month's time, according to the definition of Robert Kiyosaki, who's the author of the book, up to a full month, and their business will run with or without them. That requires systems. So that's, of course, part of the roadmap is, do people want something like this? Because what this means is ultimate lifestyle, and it means scale and growth. But here in the S quadrant, which by the way, my husband had a windshield business, it remained in the S quadrant. He wanted to grow it. I said, no, I'm homeschooling right now. No way. I don't want to deal with employees. Absolutely not. No way. He didn't like hearing that, but he knew that he would need me to help with that. And I said, I just can't do that. So we stayed in the S quadrant because that's what worked for our family at that time. But the B, okay, that's so that can be one of your paths to go through and reach 6 and 7 figure income success. So I'm excited about that.
Well, and that's a perfect segue into the next screenshot there we have of the roadmap. It is just that, and using those foundational principles, some from Kiyosaki and other places, we have 4 business models within the roadmap. That's one of the many things. We analyze people's strengths, we analyze people's interests, we analyze people's assets, and it's just a very thorough inventory. And then where we sit down individually, one-on-one with our e-commerce members, and say, okay, how does this look? Because everybody's different. Everybody has different goals and different things that they bring to the table. But one of the things that you mentioned there, the next slide there, summarizes, kind of hard to read there. I'm going to bring up another piece of paper here in just a second. There's 4 types of e-commerce business models, and we have people at least identify those. Where would they like to land at the end of the day? Where do they need to start? And some of them are more B-based versus E-based and the whole. So some of those principles come into play. And so I just have a PDF, the digital. I'll try to do this real quick without covering us up too much there. There we go. It's the e-commerce business school roadmap to a 6-figure income. And so there's so much to this, and it's not just, oh, I fill this out. No, we really hold your hand. We talk about the business models. We take an assessment of who you are and where you're going. We talk about your abilities, your experiences, your background, your aspirations. And then I got the Word doc version of it right here, is because it's a little easier to see, is that's where we really begin then to flesh out those 4 business models. And so, Ann, if you want to talk a little bit more, because you brought it up with Kiyosaki, there's the first one, and I'll go ahead and scroll through this as we talk about these 4 business models that people engage in at different times or stay with, depending upon what they want to do.
Well, there's education in here, which is to give you the big picture overview. We want people to have the big picture view on the order of when they're in high school and they're looking to go to college, and they start to thumb through all those college catalogs and, who do I want to be? What do I want to do as a professional? And they're gathering up all this information so that they can start maybe, I think I'm going to take a class in that and do that. Well, and with the 33-page roadmap manual, it's structured to give you this overview, this educational overview, but much of it is about you inputting your information. We have this in a Google Drive as well, and then that comes to our staff, and then we evaluate the information that you've provided. Hey there, Kathleen, because I want to say the advice that we would give, a recommendation, like a high school counselor or college counselor, same thing here at the e-commerce business school. There's not a one size fits all. Again, I think of this appointment I had with one of our members when we were at Trifecta, and we went off and we had like a 1-hour consultation. And the roadmap that I suggested for her was totally based on her needs, her skills, her desires, both short term and long term. And I charted out a course for her. So we give you that data and the information through this 33-page manual. You give us your information so we can better advise you. So it's very, very powerful. That some people say, knowledge is power. Yes, it most definitely is. The opposite is when you're ignorant and you don't have the information, you make really poor decisions. So we like to be data centric. And so as you go through this roadmap, we want your data of, oh, okay, you only have that many hours to do per week. Okay, we need to know that. Oh, your budget is that? Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. We need that data because we're not going to push you into, square peg into a round hole for something that doesn't suit you. Now, again, this is at the EMP level. And the distinction there is you really, you know what? I want to be this. I want to be the true business owner. I get it. I can see that e-commerce is the future. And I really want to create not just a career path, but my business path towards success. And so it's very powerful. And we've done, I don't know, Curt, I can't say hundreds with this, but probably at least 100 people have gone through the roadmap.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially, yeah, we've been doing it now. I was surprised when I went back and looked at some of the archives. I think this is like our full second year into it. And so, we were at UBL last year. We had it before that. Brian basically took the foundation of it. And thank you, Brian. He's on the call right now. And he's responsible for this part of it too. We collaborated together, embellished it. And I think we laid out, you might be remembering the revised version in Colorado a year and a half ago, and talking about these 4 types of e-commerce businesses to help people clarify. And it's so beautiful. We don't have the time to do it now, Ann, but not only does Brian explain the 4 types of e-commerce business models, but he also gives examples. He also gives the pros and cons of each type of business model. So people, when they're coming on in, they can really say, oh, I'd really like to land here. I'd really aspire to this. Other people, not so much, I just want some extra cash flow to pay that house bill or car bill or student loan. We get a lot of that, whatever the case might be. And so it really helps us help them take the steps that they need with what they're bringing to the table to get to where they want to go. It's not a cookie cutter process.
All right. Did you want to go through do you want me to read off of it? Or?
No, it's okay. I just wanted to mention the 4 business models. One is an Amazon-centric model, the pros and cons. Yeah, there's the examples Brian gives. Then there's the marketplace example. I want to sell as many products as possible to grow my income. And so it's like online shopping malls. And it talks about really leaning into Amazon and their program to do that. And examples of that, and people that might be good at that. And then there's the third model. This is the base Word doc. It's actually a PDF when you get it. You can interact online with it when you join the e-commerce masters program. And then there's the store centric. I want to have my own presence on the internet, a real store. And I'll let you address that momentarily. A lot of people say, I really want something of my own.
Yeah, it is what we hear from people, in that I think for a lot of folks, it comes from when they were young, this vision they had of, as they saw store owners and the cool things that shop owners have in their brand and their uniqueness is, wow, maybe I could have my own line of XYZ. And this is basically how entrepreneurialism begins, is people wanting to have you see the cupcake stores, for example, those have gotten very, very popular. But where people have an affinity for something and they excel at it in a product line, or a passion around a product line, and then they create their own store. So I am a very, very big advocate of people. I'm about people being educated to become in control of their business. And that's by having your own real estate property. It is a more highly evolved business model, but it's where you kind of really ultimately arrive. This is my own store. Yes, you have your own store on Amazon, but it's under the control of Amazon. And of course, with the many benefits that it provides, AKA their gorgeous traffic. But brand centric, there you go. I want to create my own product line with a brand and a website. And understandably so, there's many, many people who have done that very successfully, and it's their product line. No one else can steal it, riff off of them. It's theirs. And that's what Brian has accomplished, for example, with his Stir Crazy Gifts gift store that he has online. So many of our folks aspire to that. And that's really the purpose of the roadmap is you may end up merging two models for a season, like the cash flow model. You're going to do that and build it to XYZ while you're building your online store presence simultaneously. We help you map that all out, even a timeline for that.
And so, Ann, I threw back up here the roadmap with the guy looking at the map and the book there. The reason we've been talking about the roadmap today is last weekend in Dallas, Brian was teaching. He shared his journey. I'm going to give everybody that link. They can hear the whole thing that happened in Dallas last weekend. It's about 30, 40 minutes where Brian shares his story. And then if they want to, they can then click through and learn more about the e-commerce masters program, the presentation that you did just last weekend in Dallas. And we wanted to shine a little bit of spotlight on the roadmap because it is a centerpiece. It's not just another program. It really is a mentorship program, and we have so many assets here at the e-commerce business school to give our students what they need from where they are to where they want to go. And Brian's story is the inspiration for them to keep along the way. Between Brian, the collective wisdom that we have here at the e-commerce business school with all the different business models, with all from arbitrage to POD to owning your own store and assets to you selling $25 million online of stuff and other people's stuff over the years, regardless of how they say, I want it to be like this. We have the expertise within our training community. I think of the Dr. Josie Shepard, an expert on systems, and we know there's other stuff out there. There's these, guys that, make millions of dollars and say, I'll show you how to do it. Well, it's one guy, maybe that one guy does know a little bit more about one model than we do. But the collective wisdom and the mentorship and the camaraderie and the journey that we go on with our students, there's nothing that comes close, remotely close to what you, I, and we provide here at the e-commerce business school. And a lot of that is thanks to Brian and his inspiration. So I'm on my soapbox, and I'm going to go to this last slide where you can hear more. But I think you concur with my assessment.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do. It is a mentorship program. Absolutely. I think of the roadmap, it's a tool. So we provide that to you as a tool, which after watching Brian's story there, you're going to see the link. So Brian has been a 10 plus year Amazon seller, third-party seller, has learned an enormous amount. And through you're going to watch, it's about 20 minutes, 30 minutes in length, these hard-earned lessons. What did he learn in that 10-year span, a full decade? There's so much, and that's so beneficial to you if you're maybe newer to the space. I think it's beneficial really for however long people have been in, because you're going to learn some new perspectives that you probably haven't heard before. So that's going to be extremely valuable as you learn from Brian. Then too, I do share right after that about the EMP program, and people actually will have the opportunity to access the roadmap even outside the scope of EMP itself. It's actually for you to get a consult around the roadmap. You'll learn the details of that after you watch Brian's video there. That's at bit.ly/Brian-Cummings, and you'll learn more about that. So here's what I know to be true is the roadmap is a fantastic tool for you to get the big overview and perhaps really start to see a different vision and concept for your potential in the e-commerce space. That right now you're looking through kind of a more narrow channel. This will expand your world of what the potential is out there, and maybe find something that's going to be more suited to your life goals and where you want to go with your e-commerce business. A big thank you to you and Brian for working together so hard on this document.
Yeah, we love working together. I think I feel that way, Brian. I hope you do too. We have a good time. We're so different, but yet it's kind of like, it really benefits our students by having all the different, someone's giving us a lot of love there, giving us, a lot of different perspectives and really helping people, having the variety and I guess, the vast spectrum of all the different coaches and all their approaches and all that they do and all their successes. We're just really, really blessed here as a team and as a faculty. So yeah, so do tag us, ask questions, get to this roadmap, listen to Brian's story. It's very, very inspiring. Even if you feel like you've got everything you need, who doesn't need more inspiration? So thanks, Brian, for your input to there. Thanks, Ann, for your leadership and guiding all of your staff and trainers and faculty to benefit your students. So we hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
All righty. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.